February 8th, 2026. Chapter 15.5, Ways of Reflecting Wisely. Reason Analysis. Yo ni so mana sikara. Being read in parts. Today is part 5, page 1487 to page 1496. 15.5i. Reflection by abiding in the present moment, or the awareness of the here and now. 15.5i. This ninth kind of reflection of dwelling in the moment, or reflection with the present phenomenon as its focus of attention, is simply another aspect of other forms of reflection. One can say that it is combined with or encompasses the previous 8 kinds of reflection. The reason for distinguishing it, however, is that it is unique to the importance and has some attributes requiring special understanding. The gist of this kind of reflection is contained and outlined in the teaching of the 4 foundations of mindfulness, which will be discussed in the section on the 7th factor of the Eightfold Path, Samma Sati, right mindfulness, in chapter 18. The reasons for including this kind of reflection here is that there is a distinct focus in these 2 contexts. The description within the 4 foundations of mindfulness focus on the establishment of mindfulness by bearing in mind and being fully aware to things as they arise and exist, to the process of cognition, to one's present activities in every moment. In this context of yo ni so mana sikara, wise reflection, reason analysis, the focus is on the application in the context of the thought, which is focused on by sati, mindfulness. The point requiring special attention in relation to this kind of reflection is the misunderstanding about the true meaning of abiding in the present moment. That is, some people believe that Buddhism teaches to only think about things existing in the immediate present. It dissuades people from thinking about the past or the future, from planning or future events. Practitioners who have this misunderstanding will stray from the Buddhist principles. And non-Buddhist principles who have this understanding will focus on the harmful consequences they believe Buddhism causes for its followers. Now, the important points to understand concerning the past, to understand concerning the present, and to understand concerning the future in relation to this 9th kind of yo ni so mana sikara of wise reflection are as follows. In short, thinking that is not grounded in the present moment, thinking caught up in the past or drifting off into the future, follows the directions of and is subject to tanha, craving. It follows one's vedana, feeling, or in modern parlance, it falls under the sway of one's emotions. Now, the Thai word for emotion here is alom, which stems from the Pali word aramana, the sense object. Although the meaning here is the following under the sway of emotions, alom, on a deeper level, one also falls under the sway of sense impressions in general. In this case, one hankers after and longs for those things that have passed one by because of an attachment, upatana, or the clinging or lingering over the mental image or memory, or one drifts off into the abstract thoughts and fantasies of things that may or may have not take place in the future. Because one feels stifled, frustrated, and discontent with the conditions one faces and wants to escape from the present. Thinking that remains in the present moment, on the other hand, follows the direct knowledge or a subject to the power of panya, wisdom. If one is able to think in this way, regardless of whether one's thoughts are of the present, one's thoughts are of the past, one's thoughts are of future events, they are still classified as abiding in the present. It is clear that in Buddhism, wise consideration of the past, present, and future at every stage of practice is both vital and correct. This is true for the stage of everyday practice. Like learning from lessons experienced in the past, being careful to prevent danger in the future, up to the stage of realizing the truth, and is even an aspect of the Buddhist activities, in which he applied to say the knowledge of the recollection of past lives. Bupe niva sanu sati na na. Knowledge of the past. Ati tamsa na na. Knowledge of the future. Anaka tamsa na na. The true meaning of the terms past, present, and future in Buddhist teaching in the context of spiritual training are not the same of how people generally understand these terms. People's general concepts of the term present encompasses a rather broad and indistinct period of time. In the context of Buddhist spiritual practice, however, the present refers to a single immediate moment of time. On the deeper level, however, to dwell or to live in the present refers to being mindful, to remain fully attentive to what one is experiencing or doing in each and every moment. If one cognizes something and either delight or aversion arises, one gets stuck at it and revolves around the mental image of that thing which one has created in one's own mind. One thus falls into the past, does not keep abreast of the things that they really are, and slips away from the present moment. Alternatively, if one falls away from the present and begins to fantasize about things that have not yet come to pass, based on the attachment to specific mental images, then one drifts off into the future. For this reason, the past and the future are defined in Buddhist teaching, may be a part of the general worldly understanding of the term present. Here we see one important aspect of the way in which the present is defined in the Buddhist teaching. The focus is not on so much as the events in the world or the external phenomenon, but rather those things at which one is immediately engaged. For this reason, those things that are considered to be past or future, according to people's general understanding, may in the Buddhist context refer to the present, just as people's general concept of the present may be in the Buddhist context be referred to as past or future, or as mentioned above. However, in Buddhism, the present pertains to one's involvement and association with things, which requires an understanding, and the engaged response, which is the wider sense, extends to one's daily life practice. No involvement equals no suffering. In relation to thinking, the present encompasses all events that are linked to one's immediate experience and current considerations, to those things which is one engaged with, which require some form of active response, which are connected to one's spiritual practice. This is very different from muddied, incoherent, aimless, or abstract thoughts connected to pleasing or displeasing sense objects, or to a form caught up in the delight and aversion. These descriptions of the past, present, and future are made clear of the following teachings by Gautama Buddha, by Gautama Buddha. The teaching of Gautama Buddha are neither dwelling in the past nor fantasizing about the future help to sever such errant thoughts by encouraging people to stay attentive to those things that truly exist while they are engaged in their activities, as in evident from the following Tipitaka passages. This is from the Bhakti Karata Sutra. Let one not hanker after the past, nor build one's hopes on the future, for the past has been left behind, the future has not been reached. One who has insight onto each present arisen state, that which is certain, unshakable, knows clearly and acts accordingly. Today the effort must be made. Tomorrow death may come. Who knows? There is no reprieve from the great commander-in-chief, the Lord of Death, Mara Hos, or Yama, the Lord of Death, Yama. One who dwells thus ardently, not idle by day and by night, such a person the peaceful sage has called one who prospers each and every day. Those who have realized the eternal law of Dhamma, Satana, Dharma, do not sorrow over the past, nor do they fantasize about the future. They maintain themselves with what is present. Hence, their complexion is so bright. As for fools, by fantasizing about the future, by mourning over the past, they grow pale and dreary, like the flesh reed cut from the left and left in the sun, withered away. Note the mental attitude in the respect of time, someone who is not subject to tanha, craving, as described in those preceding sutras passages, and compare this with the wise engagement with the futures as described in the passages below. These include teaching on everyday life of lay people as well as the duties of the bhikkhus. They include both personal and social responsibilities. Doubt that which is doubtful. Prevent danger that has not yet come to pass. A wise person investigates both worlds because he considers future dangers. One should never give up hope. A wise person should not become discouraged. I have clearly witnessed for myself that whatever I have wished for, I have obtained to satisfaction. Complete your activities with heedfulness. Those are the Buddha's last words. Here's an example of how the bhikkhus should take the future in account when performing their individual duties. Monks, bhikkhus. When a bhikkhu discerns the following 5 future dangers, he should indeed dwell with appamato, heedfulness. Make effort and dedicate himself resolutely in order to attain the unattained, to accomplish the unaccomplished, to realize the unrealized. Which 5? Here a bhikkhu, a monk, considers this way. I am now young, black-haired young man endowed with the blessing of youth in my prime of life. But there will come a time when old age assails this body. When one is old, overcome by old age, it is not easy to attend to the Buddha's teaching. It's not easy to resort to the remote lodging in the forests and the jungle's groves. Indeed, before this undesirable, unpleasant, unsatisfactory condition comes upon me, may I hasten to arouse in order to attain the unattained. When I have fulfilled this task, I will dwell at ease even though I am old. Again, a bhikkhu reflects thus: I am now seldom ill or afflicted. I possess an even metabolism and digestion for that, neither too cool nor too hot, but moderate and suitable for striving. But there will come a time when illness assails this body. May I hasten to rouse energy. I will dwell at ease even though I am ill. Again, a bhikkhu reflects thus: food is now plentiful and alms food is abundant, so that one can easily subsist by going on alms round. But when there come a time of famine, a poor harvest, when alms food is hard to obtain, and one cannot easily subsist by going on alms round, people will migrate from place of famine to places where food is plentiful. In the monasteries, there will be crowded and congested. When living conditions are crowded and congested, it is not easy to attend to the Buddha's teachings. It's not easy to resort to the remote lodges in the forest and the jungle's groves. Indeed, may I hasten to rouse energy. I will dwell at ease even in a famine. Again, a bhikkhu, a monk, reflects thus: people are now dwelling in harmony, living together happily without disputes, blending like milk and water, viewing each other with eyes of affection. But there will come a time of peril, of disturbance and revolts in the frontiers, and the people of the countryside, mounted on the vehicles, flee on all sides. In a time of peril, people migrate to places of safety. Living conditions, there will be crowded and congested. May I hasten to rouse energy. I will dwell at ease, even in times of peril. Again, a bhikkhu, a monk, reflects thus: the community, the sangha, is now dwelling at ease, in accord harmlessly without disputes, with a single patimok recitation. But there will come a time when there will be a schism in the sangha. Now, when there is a schism in the sangha, it is not easy to attend to the Buddha's teachings. It's not easy to resort to remote lodging in the forest and jungles, groves. Indeed, may I hasten to rouse energy. I will dwell at ease, even though there is a schism in the sangha. Another passage contains teaching for bhikkhus who live in the forest. By considering 5 potential dangers, they should live vigilantly, make effort, dedicate themselves resolutely in order to fulfill the unfulfilled, attain the unattained, and realize the unrealized. They should consider the future thus: I live alone in the forest. I may be bitten by snakes or a centipede, stung by a scorpion, or slip and fall. I may have food poisoning, a disturbance of bile or phlegm, or a severe case of sunstroke. I may encounter a fierce animal like a lion, tiger, or a bear. I may meet a malevolent person or non-human being and thus come to harm. I may even be killed due to one of these causes. I should thus rouse energy and reach those states that I have not yet reached. There is a similar teaching by the Buddha Gautama on contemplations for safeguarding the future well-being of the sangha, the community. Bhikkhus, monks, there are these 5 dangers as yet unarisen that will arise in the future. You should recognize them and make effort to prevent them. What 5? First, in the future, there will be bhikkhus and monks who are undeveloped in body, undeveloped in virtuous conduct, undeveloped in mind, and undeveloped in wisdom. They will give full ordination to others, but will not be able to train them in higher morality, higher mind, and higher wisdom. These pupils too will be undeveloped in body, virtuous conduct, mind, and wisdom. They in turn will give full ordination to others, but will not be able to train them in higher morality, higher mind, and higher wisdom. These pupils too will be undeveloped in body, virtuous conduct, mind, and wisdom. Thus, through corruptions of the Dhamma, the eternal law, comes corruptions of the Vinaya, the discipline. From corruptions of the Vinaya, the discipline, comes corruptions of the eternal law, Dharma. 2, again, In the future, there will be monks who are undeveloped in body, virtuous conduct, and mind, wisdom. They will give dependence to others, but will not be able to train themselves in higher morality, higher mind, and higher wisdom. These pupils, too, will be undeveloped. Thus, through corruptions of the Dhamma comes corruptions of the discipline. From corruptions of the discipline comes corruptions of the Dhamma. Again, in the future, there will be monks and bhikkhus who are undeveloped in body, undeveloped in virtuous conduct, mind, and wisdom. They will recite sermons on the higher doctrine and the discourses, stumbling into incorrect Dhamma without being aware of it. Thus, through corruptions of the Dhamma comes corruptions of the discipline, and from corruptions of the discipline comes corruptions of the Dharma. Again, in the future, there will be monks and bhikkhus who are undeveloped in body, virtuous conduct, mind, and wisdom. When those discourses spoken by the Tathagata are being recited that are profound, deep in meaning, world transcending, connected with emptiness, they will not listen attentively, will not lead an ear to them, or apply their minds to understand them. They will not think those teachings should be studied or learned. But when those discourses are being recited that are mere poetry composed by poets, beautiful in words and phrases, dealing with external matter, spoken by disciples, they will listen attentively, lend an ear to them, and apply their minds to understand them. They will think those teachings should be studied and learned. Thus, through corruptions of the Dhamma comes corruptions of the discipline, and from corruptions of the discipline comes corruptions of the Dhamma. Fifth, again in the future, there will be monks who are undeveloped in body, virtuous conduct, mind, and wisdom. The elder bhikkhus will be greedy and lax, leaders in negligence, discarding the duty of solitude. They will not rouse energy for attaining the unattained, accomplishing the unaccomplished, or realizing the unrealized. Those in the next generation will follow their example. They too will be greedy and lax, leading in negligence, discarding the duty of solitude. They will not rouse energy. Thus, through corruptions of the Dhamma comes corruptions of the discipline. And from corruptions of the discipline comes corruptions of the Dharma. These monks, these are the 5 future dangers, as yet unarisen, that will come to arise in the future. You should recognize them and make effort to prevent them. Gautama Buddha gave another teaching about future dangers for the Sangha. Bhikkhus, there are these 5 future dangers as yet unarisen that will arise in the future. You should recognize them and make effort to prevent them. What 5? In the future, there will be monks who desire fine robes. They will give up the practice of wearing ragged robes, give up remote lodgings in the forests and jungles, having converged upon the villages, towns, and capital cities, will take up their residence there. They will engage in many kinds of wrong, improper pursuits for the sake of the robe. Again, in the future, there will be monks who desire fine, delicious alms food, having converged upon the villages, towns, and capital cities, will take up their residence there. Seeking the finest delicacies with tips of their tongues, they will engage in many kinds of wrong, improper pursuits for the sake of alms food. Again, in the future, there will be monks who desire beautiful and extravagant lodgings. They will engage in many kinds of wrong, improper pursuits for the sake of lodgings. Again, in the future, there will be monks who consort with bhikkhunis, female probationers, and novices. Female probationers may see the one that accepts the 5 precepts. Female probationers and novices When they consort in this way, it may be expected that they will live in a spiritual life dissatisfied or give up the training and prevent the household life. Again, in the future, there will be monks who fraternize with the monastery stewards and novices. When they fraternize in this way, it can be expected that they will engage in the use of various kinds of stored up goods, give gross hints in regard to the ground and vegetation. These monks are the 5 future dangers as yet unarisen that will arise in the future. You should recognize them and make effort to prevent them. These are the aforementioned explanation help to distinguish between thoughts of the past and the future that are subject to craving, tanha. They are incoherent and fanciful. They are a waste of time. They damage the quality of the mind. These thoughts are the past and the future based on wisdom, panya, which are connected to the present activities and supported for spiritual practice. When one practices these according to these principles, one should be able to effective preparations and plans for the future. This is made manifest in the important historical activities of the monastic Sangha. The first recitation, Sanghayana, for example, came about because the monks gave consideration to the future, which was connected to the present responsibilities. Now, this is the end of 15.5i, leaving off at the bottom of page 1496. Buddha Dhamma.